Price, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to work with you today. For people who aren't familiar with you and all the incredible things that you've done in the soccer space and will continue to do in the soccer space by the sounds, would you mind filling them in a bit about who you are and all the amazing stuff you've got going on?
Yes. Thank you for having me. It's been a very interesting college career, but like very successful. And it's been very exciting just to see all the opportunity that's like made available. Yeah. So, as I guess breaking into it, like I have played D1 soccer for 6 years now. I had a medical red shirt and a COVID year. So I really milked out my eligibility. And I've played from all over. So I started my career off at Ole Miss, played there for 3 years. I took a stint at University of Central Florida and had 2 artery surgeries, which is a whole we can get into that later, and ended up coming back to Mississippi for what I thought was gonna be my last 2 years. Joke's on me. Ended up transferring again to Iowa, where I finished out my eligibility, and it's been, as I said, a wild ride, but, like, I really couldn't have, like, picked a better way to spend it.
Yeah, absolutely a wild ride. And by the sounds, I mean, you've had to pack up and move several times. And we were just talking about how, in the past couple of weeks, you've driven like 40, 45 hours or something ridiculous like that. Like, I feel like you're always on the go and you're never just in one place. And I forget when we first chatted that way, but I feel like we were both going someplace even then. I feel like there's something to be said about the athlete who just doesn't sit still, right? Like, you're literally all over the place all the time, literally and figuratively, right? You packed up your life and moved to different states how many times now? I'd love to hear more about that because I think now more than ever, athletes can relate to that, right? Like, maybe they find a spot that they think is right for them, and for whatever reason, it's no longer right for them, and they've gotta pack up and move, but, speaking from my own personal experience, there's some stress that comes with that, right? Like, you mean to tell me I gotta pack up my whole life and move it to a state that I've, been to a handful of times at best, usually on vacation, and just start over here? Like, there's a lot of unforeseen, stressors that come with that, I think.
Yeah, no, it's really crazy, especially now with the transfer portal. Like, at first, like, everybody was like, "Oh, this is so great." Like, if you don't fit into a program or, like, let's just say somebody else younger, like, committed or older and, like, you don't get the opportunity to play, like, it's really hard to, like, I guess, pill to swallow that, like, you won't get to play or, like, you're wasting eligibility because you only have 4 years and it's done, which I think that the rule's changing to where you're getting 5 years in, like, 2027, I think. But no, like, I never thought I was gonna transfer. I mean, I never really thought I was gonna stay in Mississippi, and I spent 4 of my 6 years in Mississippi playing. But I don't know, like, the transfer portal, it's like, I wouldn't really recommend it to anybody. Like, it has served me really well, but, like, that was never my intentions of, like, leaving. Like, I think it kinda is, like, for I've had several friends that have stayed at programs for years and, like, spent their whole time there, and it's been, like, so, like, just, like, I guess, like, fruitful, like, the amount of relationship you build and, like, the connections that you have, like, being able to stay at a university for so long, like, that really speaks volumes to, like, I guess your commitment, which, I mean, it's different for everybody. Like, I say it's your commitment staying there for 4 years, and then here I am, 4 different colleges, but, like, everybody's story is, like, a little bit different in, like, how things, like, go about. Like, I spent 3 years at Ole Miss. I graduated high school really excited to go. I mean, I had a great career at Ole Miss, like, started my freshman year, played every single game, basically every single minute. Like, I think I left Ole Miss with, like, 4,000 minutes played, and, like, I think I had started every single game except for 1, and that was, like, my freshman year because I, like, stepped on a hole and, like, missed my first game. It's like but, then I transferred to, I transferred to University of Central Florida my last year because Ole Miss had a lot of success. We went to the NCAA tournament every year. We competed in the SEC tournament every year. Like, we were top 25 program, and, like, it was great, but, like, I also needed to show that we didn't really build out of the back that much, and, like, if you're a defender and wanna go play professional, like, it's, like, really important to showcase, like, your ability to, like, build through the back, have confidence on the ball, like, just being able to be, like, a very different dynamic player. And so I was like, "Okay, I need to, like, take a leap of faith." So I went to University of Central Florida, and then I had artery surgeries because I had some very rare, like, never really heard of thing called popliteal artery entrapment syndrome, and then it's normally in the back of your knees. Well, I had it in the back of my knees and the distal third of my hamstrings. So that was eventful to say the least. I ended up which this is, like, kind of like a testament to, like, my faith and just also, like, the belief that, like, no matter, like, what happens in your life, like, it's going to work out. Like, I took a leap of faith, like, thinking that, like, UCF was where I was going to, like, thrive and, like, go play pro right afterwards. And, like, God had different plans. God was like, "I'm sending you here to, like, get healed," because Mississippi doesn't have any of that, technology and diagnostics to even get, like, my diagnosis of popliteal artery entrapment syndrome. And the doctor who writes the scripts for the surgery in Tampa, and I was in Orlando. So, like, really crazy, like, 360 moment for me. And, like, we ended up getting the surgeries 3 weeks apart and, like, had like, I literally have the doctor's personal phone number. Like, he was like, "Please call me." Like, and I think he's doing a case study on me too. So, definitely a very interesting, I guess, circle. So then I ended up, like, the coaches thought that I'd never be able to return to play, which, I mean, no one my age, like, I was, like, I think I was 21 when that happened. And they're like, "That you're probably not gonna be able to play soccer again," because, I mean, they cut my calves to my hamstrings, like, they literally had to cut my muscles off my arteries because every time I flexed my leg, like, I lost blood flow. So, with all that, like, I was like, "Know what?" Like, I'm just gonna go back home, like, I kinda thought I was gonna be done with soccer because I kinda, like, not lost belief in myself, but, like, I was like, "I don't know if I have that in me anymore." And then Coach James Armstrong, who's now at Auburn, he gave me an opportunity. He was like, "Know what? We'll give you a 6-month trial. We'll let you on the team, see if you can play, and if you can't, like, my best wishes to you, like, I'm glad that you at least stuck it out and tried to see if you could come back. And if you do come back, like, great, we're proud of you, we're happy for you, and, like, let's see where the season can take us." And then go on this, like, record-breaking season at Mississippi State where we went 10-0 in the SEC, won the SEC regular championship, and then we made it to the Sweet 16, and, like, I think we had maybe I don't wanna get this wrong, but I think we had, like, 4 goals against us, if that. No, 5, I think. I could be wrong, but I know definitely during regular season, we had, like, basically no goals against us. And then they end up taking a job that as I said, they went to Auburn. So I was like, "No, I'm staying loyal to the program, not transferring." Even though, like, I love them, I was like, I wanna stay loyal to the team, like, I had a lot of family connections there, and I was like, "I love this team, like, I can't leave." And then the new coaching staff came in, and things happened, and they were like, "I think it's best for you to, like, go to a new program, like, it's just we're not a great fit." And I was like, "Okay." So I packed up my bags and went to Iowa, where we ended up also going on, like, a record season to where we made it to the round of 32, and, I mean, Iowa's great, like, definitely a little bit colder than Mississippi, but, like, it was, like, so fruitful and, like, going back, like, this is, like, really crazy because I love, like, I'm a numbers person, so, like, I love just, like, hearing numbers, and because I was actually 'cause, Coach Armstrong is actually one of, like, my, like, closer, like, mentors, and he was like, "Price, do you know, like, you could go play pro?" And I was like, "Coach, I know, but, like, I don't have, like, any awards to my name necessarily." Like, I mean, I won a couple, like, defensive players of the week, but, like, when it comes to, like, the, 1st team, 2nd team, or, like, defensive player, like accolades, like, I didn't really have that. Like, I mean, I'd score goals some, I'd assist some, like, I'd make some big tackles, but I just didn't have, like, the accolades to my name, and he goes like, "Price, 99 you played in 99 games. You started 88 of the 99 games. You played, like" I think he said, like, 6,000 minutes, and he was like, "You've been to 5 NCAA tournaments." I was like, "You went to 2 Sweet 16s, 2 rounds of 32, and a round of 64. Like, I think you can go pro if you want to." So, like, it's, like, really crazy because I transferred 4 times, yet, like, or 3 times, 4 colleges, but, like, everything works out, like, and you just gotta work for it. Like, it's very much not easy, but I think, like, the biggest thing that got me through it all was, like, knowing that, like, you can't compare, like, one school to another. Like, you can't be like, "Oh, well, if I would've stayed here, then this would've happened," or if I would've just, like, never transferred to begin with, like, I'd be playing pro right now. But, like, the amount of, like, experiences I, like, gained from it and perspective and, like, how much I grew as, like, a person and, like, grew in my faith, like, it's really unreal. Like, I would never wish it upon anybody to go through the things I went through, but at the same time, like, I now don't think there's a single thing that could, like, make me, like, lose it. Like, okay, like, let's say jobs, I lose a job. Cool. I mean, I've left 2 programs against my will, so, like, I've left a lot of friends that, like, I didn't wanna say bye to. Like, I think it's, like, the biggest thing of, like, just perspective. Like, okay, well, now I have a new opportunity somewhere else. Like, if they didn't see the value in me there, then why would I be, like, trying to prove myself to them when they didn't see it?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. There's so many amazing things that you just brought up, and I mean, first, it seems like greatness just follows you everywhere you go, Price. Like, anywhere you go, great things happen, so there's something to be said about that, and whoever is getting you next in whatever capacity that is, I don't know if it's player, coach, scout, I don't know what the title is, but wherever you go, there's definitely gonna be incredible things that happen that way, so I love that for you, and I'm excited for whatever is next for you in the future. But looking back to your point about faith, this comes up almost every conversation I have with athletes. Not every conversation, but so many of them. If you flip back and you listen to whether it's Ellie or whether it's Tenley or whoever it is, like it just comes Kajana. So many of these episodes I've done with athletes, they're bringing up faith. And it's like,
Mhm.
these are not just like, your average athletes talking about this. This is like your all American pole vaulters, your
Yeah.
D1, this, that, and the other thing. Like, some of the best athletes are telling me one of the most important things that they feel plays into their success is their faith. And it's one of those things that I think often gets overlooked and forgotten about, right? Like, all these different teams have strength coaches and sports psych and sports nutrition, and we need all of those things. Don't get me wrong, but what about spiritual health? Like, are we all like taking care of what we need to internally that way? Like, are you all like doing what you need to get right with the Lord? Like, maybe you are great, but if not, like maybe we need to just nudge that a little bit. Again, what do I know? I'm just on the outside looking in, but that faith concept comes up so often when I'm talking with athletes, and I love that that's played such an important role in getting you to where you're at today. I think thinking about your injuries as well with the artery entrapment syndrome, which I can't believe that I've heard about that before you because it is a very rare thing. And there's only a handful of places in the country that really work with and deal with that. Tampa, and then the others in like Montana, Wyoming, like not necessarily the easiest place to get to, if you will, that way. But it's one of those things that anytime you have some kinda unique injury like that, where it's like, most people have never heard of it, you have to
Mhm.
explain it, you don't know what that path ahead looks like, you don't know if you'll even get back to sport. Faith plays a crucial role in that, right? Believing in the things that are not yet seen. Like, if you can cling to that during those difficult times, I think you've checked more than half the box alone by just checking the faith box, in relation to returning to sport following injury.
Yeah, no, it's, like, really crazy because like, it'd be so easy for me to give it up the first time, or the second time, or the third time, and it's like but there's, like, always, like, that part of me that was like, "This, like, can't define me, that, like, this is not the purpose for me." Like, I used to always find myself, like, praying, like, "God, like, please give me patience, like, wisdom, like, help me, like, learn how to navigate my future," and it's like, "Oh, wow, okay." So I I prayed for peace, and I got chaos. I prayed for, like, guidance and helping me, like, learn how to handle my life, and then I get situations that have, like, literally shaped me into who I am today and, like, the way that I even, like, think about things or, like, even be able to, like, process and handle things. It's like, it's so big into, like, who I am and, like, how I've become who I am. It's like, I really don't even know how I'd say mentally sane. Like, everybody looks at me and they're like, "Price, like, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why would I not be?" And they're like, "Well, like, this," and I'm like, "And what about it?" Like, if anything, it just gives me more opportunities to, like, do what, like either no one thought I could do, what I didn't think I could do myself, and it's just like, well, like, why would I let anybody determine my worth? Or, like, the only thing that I should really even care about is, like, either my salvation in Christ and, like, how can I, like, live out my life in such a way that, like, I can, like, influence other people, and, like, I think my life's really kind of done that, like, I been moving all over the place, yet I've made, like, lifetime friends, like, when I say, like, lifetime, like, I'll have, like I basically will have a teammate from every single, like, place I've been at, and, like, not even teammate, but just, like, people that just, like, were at that university that I'm at, that, like, that I'll be like, "Oh, these people are in my wedding, like, these people will forever, like, be in my life." And it's like, I would have never thought any of that would have happened, like, from Ole Miss to UCF to Mississippi State to Iowa, like, the amount of friendships that I've made and just, like, relationships that I've just created, it's, like, crazy. Like, I just could never not, like, imagine not having that.
Yeah, yeah, no, there's something to be said about that. Like, you almost built this community of people as you went through sport, right? Like, I think everyone always thinks of sport being like what they see on the field on competition day and maybe the practice and training, which, as you mentioned, it's long, it's hard, it's grueling. Like, it
Mm,
has to be. You're some of
yeah.
the best athletes in the sport that you play, period. And some of you are the best athletes, period. Like,
Mm,
regardless of what sport you're talking about that way. And it's like, to get there requires so much sacrifice and sweat equity. And, you're putting in the hours, putting in the time, and people think it's all physical and mental about you. But in reality, I think to your point, there's an element of community that plays in with that, right?
mm,
From your team chemistry and the bond that you all have, and so on that way. Like that can literally make or break the success of teams, right? Like I look at some of these different sports teams that I've got some connections with, and it's like they are on paper some of the best players and should be one of the best teams
mhm,
consistently, and yet they can't put the pieces together for one reason or another to get the wins. They can't get the
yeah.
job done, right? Because unfortunately, sport is something that is dictated largely by wins and losses.
Mhm,
So if you're not winning, you're not performing, you're not whatever it is that way. Um, and essentially, I think that missing piece for a lot of them is that community piece, and I think a lot of that goes hand in hand with faith, right? Like, I
mhm,
personally think a lot of community and faith overlap that way, and maybe other people disagree, and that's totally fine, but I see a lot of overlap between the 2 that way, and I think the more you develop those deep, meaningful connections with the people around you, the better off y'all are going to be, not just on the field, but also, as you mentioned, for life. Like, these people are gonna be in your wedding, like, you're gonna go to these people when you need stuff. You're gonna catch up on a, 2-hour yap session every
mhm,
month, talking about whatever. Like, that's something that you don't just get in life by accident. Like, that comes through a lot of time and, enduring difficult things together, like, preseason conditioning or the conditioning tests or whatever. Like, I'm sure some of y'all are like, "Look, if I have to do another freaking beep test, this is it." But,
God.
it's incredible how much sport gets to influence and shape your life that way, I feel.
I'll say it's crazy because like, I've had teammates that are, like, married, have kids now, or, like, I have teammates that are, like, freshmen, like, just got in college, and, like, I've kinda seen, like, through each program, like, the development of people, and it's, like, so interesting to see, like, the influence that, like, you have on people, but, like, they also have on you, and, like, the perspectives that you gain from, like even if, like, you don't share the same beliefs as them or you come from the same background or raised different, like, it's, like, so cool and, like, interesting to, like, get to know other people and then, like, also broaden, like, your perspective on, like, "Oh, wait, this is how people think," or, "Oh, this is, like, what people do," or, like I mean, even, like, navigating jobs and, like, connections, like, I've gained so many connections from just, like, playing soccer, like, I've literally made so many friends, like, not even, like, on the team, but, like, the support staff, like, I mean, I had, like, a sports media guy that, like, I literally will still stay in contact with, and, like, he's now, like, at Washington. And then I'll, like, also talk to one of my nutritionists who's now at, like, Vanderbilt, like, it's just, like, crazy how, like, even though that I've moved, like, they're also moving, and, like, it's like, "Okay, well, now I have, like, this pool of people that I know that are, like, literally all over the country."
Yeah, and it only grows over time that way, which is
Mhm.
absolutely incredible. And I gotta ask, since you bring up that pool of people that you develop, does any of that pool of people involve athletes that you've competed against? And if so, what are the conversations like in game that way? Like what goes on that maybe we can't hear when we're watching y'all play soccer?
No, it's actually really funny because, like, as I said, like, I went to Ole Miss for 3 years, and then I came to Mississippi State, like, a year and a half later. So it's like, some people that were on the team played against me, I played against them, and I'm a defender, like, I put in some tackles, like, probably wasn't their best friend on the field, and it's really funny because 'cause they're like, "Oh, like, I thought you were, and I'm like, "Valid, like, if you meet me on the field and you meet me off the field, like, I'm probably gonna be, like, not 2 different people, but, like, the intensity, like, changes from, like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to help my team win and, like, be smart and play. Like, if I fouled you, like, it probably was to either to keep you from scoring, which, like, that does get really frustrating as a forward, but, like, at the same time, like, if you were in my position, I'm sure you would do the same thing, like, it's, like, really funny because 'cause they're like, "Gosh, like, I hated you," or they're like, "Oh, like, you were the only one that, like, I liked on the field because, like, you helped me up." So it'd be, like, just conversations like that, like, I don't know, like, it's just so interesting, like, you can't really compare, like, competing against someone to then, like, being on their team because it's, like, the person that you probably hate the most on the field is probably gonna be your best friend if you were on the same team together.
No, it's funny you bring that up because I think a lot of the times in the moment, it's so difficult for athletes to put themselves in the other person's shoes,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's like you're just so focused on in the moment what the goal is, scoring a goal, whatever it is that way. And you kind of forget, like, man, like if the tables are turned, I'm doing the exact same thing, right? But to your point, it sounds like you found a way to kind of walk that line by being kinda like a tough enforcer while also being, like, just a generally good person and helping people up and just
Yeah.
doing the right thing in all times that way, and I think there's something respectable about that because I think it's very easy to just go all the way off the deep end on one end or the other that way, and it sounds like you walk the line very well.
When you get injured, you tend to, like, kinda gain a new perspective on, these are people like, usually some people like, "Oh my gosh, like, I can't stand her, I'm about to do, like, a dirty tackle on her," but it's, like, also, like, that's a person's career, like, there's, like, so many things, like, when you see, like at least for me, when I see a dirty player, I'm like, "Gosh," like, so, like, you would rather hurt somebody and, like, like, either make yourself feel better or, like, whatever, or, like, show that you were tough, but it's like, okay, in reality, like, that was cheap, like, you coulda just, like, probably, like, waited for the time to, like, properly tackle or, like, I don't know, be in the right position to win the ball instead of having to, like, go through somebody. Like, I would just much rather, like, no at least for me, like, personally, like, it's like, okay, well, if I couldn't get the ball from them, they've earned it basically. If they beat me, then they earned it. Like, I'm not gonna go do something dirty and, like, tackle them from behind. I mean, not to say that I haven't grabbed someone's jersey if they run past me and, like, I'll take a foul then, but, like, when it comes to, like, actually knowing that, like, someone's gonna get hurt if, like, I make a tackle, like, I just can't do that. Like, I mean, there are some people that do it, but I just could never. Like, I don't know. It's like it's people's careers. Like, there's just, like, injuries dictate so much and, like, it gives you so much perspective that's I love the game, I love competing, but, like, if it turns to, like, dirty, like, I'm not gonna stoop to that. That's just
Right,
not.
right, that changes everything very quick.
Yeah.
Now tell me more. We've brought up the arterial entrapment syndrome a few different times. Tell me more about the recovery and the return to sport afterwards. Obviously, you mentioned earlier that you got the chance to play, and obviously you went at it full send, which I always love that energy. It's
Mhm.
always full sends only. Do it for the plot out here, and you did. It worked out obviously, but how did we get there? Because we kind of skipped from surgery, cutting open the back of your legs, chopping up your muscles to clear up the fact that your arteries were getting entrapped and you weren't getting blood flowing into your legs to now we're all the way back to sport.
Yeah, no, so it was really crazy because. Honestly, like, I told my doctor, like, I thought that I felt it around, like, 7th grade, like, cause 'cause I'd, like, walk to my soccer practices, and I feel like my shin's burning. But, like, I always had, like, off and on injuries, like, it kinda, like, blended in, like, it'd be like, "Oh, she's injured," and then, like, my arteries would, like, calm down, and then, like, once I got into college, like, it was COVID that time, so, like, we weren't allowed to practice as much, so, like, I kinda, like, got used to the training environment at Ole Miss. So, like, it really didn't show up that much. I would feel a lot of pain in my legs and, like, the 80th minute, but, like, that's 10 minutes to go in the 90, and, like, most people don't play 90s, so it's like, of course she's gonna be fatigued, but, like, no one's gonna know that translation. I didn't know that translation, like, but then when I got diagnosed, like, what really started it was, like, I was tripping over my own feet. Like, I was, like, thinking I was defending well, but, like, I was, like, always, like, a step behind. I'm like, "This is, like, new," like, because it was a new training environment, so, like, my muscles were adapting and, like, it just wasn't working out for me. I didn't have as much, like, a slow, like, I guess, like, introduction into it as I did at Ole Miss because of, like, COVID and everything. But, no, return to play, I think the doctor was a little worried about me because he was like, "I mean, once you get the arteries fixed, like, you're gonna be perfectly fine." But, like, when he did them, I did them only 3 weeks apart, which you usually do, like, 6 to 8 weeks apart, but he was going to Egypt, so I was like he was like, "It's either, like, you do it 3 weeks apart or you do it 8 weeks apart." And it's like, "Heck no, I'm not having basically a backtrack 2 months." Like, if you're giving me free rein to go work out on one leg, I don't have the self-control. I'm gonna do it on both, and then I'm probably gonna mess up the second leg worse. So, I ended up doing it 3 weeks apart, and it was, like it was genuinely horrible. Like, having the back of your legs cut open, like, you don't really realize how much things touch the back of your legs until it's, like, winter, and, like, you sit down, chair touches the back of your legs. You try to put sweatpants on, it touches the back of your legs. Leggings, off limits, can't do it. So, I basically lived in sweatpants for a good like, semester or so. But, no, there was, like, no return to play protocol, like, at all. Like, you usually get diagnosed in, like, people, like, 50 years and older. Like, it's not, like, something that you get diagnosed with as a college athlete because like, most people, like, can't do it. Like, the doctor was like when I was, like, getting the diagnosis, he was like, "Can you walk 100 yards?" It's like, "Yes, I could run 100 yards." It's like, "Well, can you walk up the stairs?" And I was like, "Yes." He's like, "Well, can you run a mile?" And I was like, "Yes." I was like, "I'm a soccer player. Like, of course I can do all this stuff. I'm just tripping over my own feet." He's like, "Well, then you probably don't have it." And then when they got all the diagnostics back, they're like, "You have less than 50% blood flow in both legs." And, like, we'd never even seen the entrapment in the distal third of the hamstring before. And they, like, sent me to, like, the specialist who writes the surgery, which was Dr. Murray Shames in Tampa. And let's just say he bumped me to the top of his list because he was very interested in my case. And then when I did the 3 weeks between surgeries, I ended up being, like, hospitalized, like, 2 days afterwards just to make sure, like, blood clotting and, like I'm stubborn, so I wanted to go home, but we couldn't fly, so we drove 10.5 hours back home to Mississippi. And I had a strength coach who ended up well, he was an athletic trainer first and then became a strength coach, and his name's Ricky Clark, and he's basically now, like, a return to play specialist, but, like, he, like, takes many, like, different, I guess, job titles because I mean, he is a certified strength coach, he is an athletic trainer, but, like, his real, like, focus is to, like, injury prevention and, like, recovery from injury. And him and I got together and we are like, "Okay, this is really weird, really unique, but, of course, I'd be the one to have it." So, him and I just kinda came up with, like, just, like, off the wall exercises, like he was like, "Okay, well, we're gonna, like, just work on, like, gait mechanics," because, like, at that point, like, I had no like, I couldn't stop, like, I'd start jogging or something, and I had no ability like, I'd basically fall to try and make myself stop because my muscles were, like, struggling to, like the muscle fibers were all severed, so it's like, how do you had, like, retrain them and give it time to, like, basically regenerate and, like, heal, which I'm not the most patient, so, like, that was painful. But I worked with him, like, every single day. Every day but, like, Saturday and Sunday, and we worked on range of motion to and the hardest part was, like, basically getting back to soccer fit because like, it's all like, soccer's so unique in all the movements, like, you have to be able to work laterally, you have to be explosive, but you have to be strong, you have to be fast, but you have to, like, be able to, like, break quick and then change directions, like, doing all that in the 6-month period that I had to do it in and then get back to be able to play at Mississippi State, like that was something that, like, I don't think I was prepared for, like, I told the coach, I told myself, I was like, "Yeah, the doctor said only 6 months of recovery." I think I may have well, not I didn't forget, but I just didn't realize how hard it was gonna be. I didn't really realize that it's like, oh, it's like 6 months to return to, like, a normal person, not a Division I soccer athlete, like, very different when we're talking about that. But, no, we just worked every single day, like and then when I got to Mississippi State, like, the strength coach there, Victor Hoffman, he's, like, amazing, like, he's so good at what he does, and he's, like, so educated on, like, just all, like, from return to play to, like, just fitness to periodization, like, he just cares so much about all of that that, like, he got me and he was like, "Alright, we got some work to do," because, like, I just, like, it was so hard getting back to, like, soccer fit, like, from running to cutting, cause like, I had, like, the running down for the most part, but it was, like, cutting that I, like, really struggled with, and we would do, like, suicides on the field, and I'd be, like, coming in, like, 5 seconds behind the time, which, like, I mean, they're like, "Price, know what you're trying," like, as long as you get there and you're showing effort and, like, you're progressing, then, like, there's nothing that we can ask for, cause, like, I think they went to a Sweet 16 before I got there, or maybe there's round of 32. But, yeah, so, like, they're like, "Know what? Like, you do have a bridge to gap, like, you got a bridge you gotta, like, cross. You might not be there, but, like, we think by the time" because I was only 6 months surgery, which I don't think anybody on the team at the time really knew how close and how, like, intense my surgery was. So, like, that was a little rough, but, I mean, I had the summer to come back to my trainer back at home, and then, of course, at that point, then we were able to, like, actually get into everything, and, like, I did the soccer packet how we normally do, and, I mean, story writes itself. I ended up somehow earning myself a starting position and, like, helped lead the team to a Sweet 16, like, it was really insane, like, I don't e like, I literally spent, like this was, like, summer, like, right after my surgeries, and my, like, best friend who, like, came home for, like, a weekend, like, came and saw me, and I was like and, like, I don't cry. I literally cried in front of her, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, like, I've lost Price. Who is this? Like, this is not Price." And, like, I freaked out because I was like, "I don't know if I can do this." Like, I don't think I'm the same person. I don't think I'm the same athlete. Like, I don't think I have this drive to, like, get over this. And she's like, "Price, like, you are you. Like, no one, like, ever dictates, like, when you're done or, like, who you are, so, like, why are you letting, like, this, like, one small thing, like, dictate anything?" And I was like, "You know what? You're so right." And, like, just, like, having, like, small interactions with just, like, community, like, it's so big, and, like, people that, like, really know you and invest in you and, like, are, like, really close to you and, like, have been through, like not been through, but they, like, have walked through life with you, like, they've seen, like, how you handle things, like, it's so important. Because, like, without, like, a lot of my, like, close friends and, like, trainers and stuff, like, I don't like, the return to play would have never happened, like, just, like, knowing that, like, someone has, like, belief in you, it's, like, it really does go far, like, belief and faith, like, I don't know, like, how people, like, do it without like, I feel like you have to believe in something and, like, having peace in something. Because like, I can tell you, it wasn't very peaceful when I was, like, trying to figure out, "Okay, well, I transferred once, now I have artery surgeries in my resume," and everybody's like, "What is this?" And you gotta tell them, "Oh, I have no blood flow in my legs." It's like, "Okay, well, you need your legs for soccer, so, like, how do you tell me, like, it's gonna come back?" And then, like, anybody researches it and they know nothing. It has, if anybody looked it up right now, they'd probably be like, "What the heck is this? And how do you get back from it?" Because there's nothing. And when I tell you there's nothing, like, I've literally had some, like, people in their PhDs, like, in, like, exercise physiology world, and they're like, "I wanna do a study on you," but then I'm like, "Well, good luck because you're not gonna have much other data to work with." Like, it's really crazy because like, it's, like, such, like, a niche thing to happen, and, like, especially for it to be in college athletics. But I also do think it's not as rare as it is now. Like, I've had a girl from Cal Poly reach out to me, I had one from Indiana reach out to me. I had one from Arkansas, like, her and I went through the same thing around the same time, which was, like, great to have her, like, in my corner. Like, she ended up having compartment syndrome surgery, and it didn't fix her problem. And then she had it and then when because I started posting about mine because I was like, "Know what?" Like, I think for me, it helps me hold myself accountable by posting it, but it also will help, like, if I do decide to continue to play, like, people will see my progression, people will see, like, how I'm handling things, how, like, my recovery process is going, like, I'm not hiding, like, all the ugly parts of my recovery, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I just got diagnosed with popliteal artery entrapment syndrome." I'm like, "Oh my gosh." So, I think she got surgery in Indiana somewhere, I think. I could be totally wrong about that, don't quote me, but like, having her and, like, being able to talk to her about it, it was, like, it was just it's really crazy because like, everybody knows ACLs. no one knows what popliteal or entrapment syndrome is. But
Yeah. No, you're not wrong at all about that, and it's one of those things. There's been several cases like this that have come up, and I say the same thing to all of them. ACLs, you say the word ACL, and everyone knows what it is, what it means. Like people know that. And then there's the ones that you have to explain, right? Cartilage transplants, meniscus transplants, not repair, transplant, putting a whole new sucker in there.
yeah.
Arterial entrapment, vascular compromise, neurogenic things like those things all need a further explanation because it's out there, right? It's hard to conceptualize it because we haven't really been taught it, and we've just been told it's rare, you probably won't see it. And then you stop and you start to look back clinically and you realize I've seen a fair number of these. And, at least in my own case, I graduated with my DPT in 2022. And here we are on December 8th, 2025, recording a freaking podcast. And it's like, I've seen more of these than I was told I was going to in a very short amount of time here, right? 3 years, 3.5 years. And this is not the first time I've heard this. It's crazy. And obviously, when this happens, I think it becomes a challenge, right? Like, hey, we have to rise to the occasion. Okay, a lot of times people look at this and they say, oh, well, there's nothing in the literature, don't know what to do, whatever. And it's like, or they'll say, I'll just treat it like an ACL. And then it's like, no, we can't just treat everything like it's an ACL, and we also can't stop at, "Oh, we don't know anything, let's just move on." Like, we have to dig deeper and do our best by the person in front of us, and, it might not be the textbook perfect return to play plan. We might miss something, or things might go like a roller coaster, they'll get better, it gets worse, it gets better, it gets worse. Like, it's okay to have those rough points, but I think ultimately you just need to put your heart in the right place and make the same effort that the athlete in front of you is making to return to their sport, right? If you're expecting them to work that hard, you better work just as hard yourself as a coach or clinician that way. And I'm sure the impact that those individuals that you mentioned has had on you obviously will play into your future career. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you had an exercise science undergrad or X-phase or something.
So my undergrad was because I ended up transferring with like 15 hours left at Ole Miss. I ended up going to UCF and having to do 30 hours there to get my undergrad, and I ended up being undecided, but like yeah. Well, it was interdisciplinary studies with a focus in kinesiology, even though like I hate to know how many classes I took in exercise science. But then I did my master's at Mississippi State, and it was in exercise physiology. And so I was supposed to get my CSCS, but then I was like, well, if I'm gonna be playing collegiate soccer, like I would rather not have my CSCS right at that moment. So I'll be taking that in the next like couple months. And I'll get like my personal training certificate as well. Because I wanted to do like a return to play. Um, Basically being a return to play specialist, considering I guess I'm pretty good at returning to play, and I've had a support staff that has really taught me, like, everything I know and has, like, basically proven to myself that, like, I can and could have returned to play, like, regardless, like, I don't know, as you said, like, it's just crazy, like, the if it's basically the investment that people have to put into you and, like, the belief of, like, knowing that you can. Like, or, like, just being completely honest, like, I'm, like, a very, like, blunt and, like, just transparent person, like, I'd rather, like, not have anybody guessing about, like, what I'm thinking or feeling, like, obviously say it respectfully, but, like, as, like, Coach James said it, like, Mississippi State when I was there, like, he was like, "You got 6 months, like, I'll give you book scholarship," like, just to be able to say that you cannot be on the team because you have to be a scholarship player to be on, like, Mississippi State at that time. And so he gave me books, like, $200. I was like, "Great." I went from, like, full rides to now I have $200 and 2 legs that might work, might not, we're gonna find out. And it's just like but we talked about it, like, he was like, "I mean, your resume speaks for itself, like, you've played 3 years in the SEC and you've done well in all those years, like, why would I not at least give you an opportunity?" And it's like, "Coach, that's all I need, like, if" and he was like, "If you don't fit into the team, you're cut. Even if you're a good player, you get cut. If you can't physically play, but, like, you're good for the team, you're still getting cut. Like, you basically have to be the full package of, like, being a good person, a good player, good academically, good soccer-wise, or, like, you're done. And, like, I mean, it worked out. Like, I proved that I could play soccer, and I proved that, like, I just needed some time for my legs to heal, which I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm sure there are some days that everybody's like, "She's not getting back." Like, this is painful. Like, I'd miss, like, several touches or, like, I would just be behind the play, but also, it takes a while for muscles to get that, like, quick connect, like, what is it called? Like, my muscle spindle fibers, we're not firing how they used to. I can guarantee you, like, I was definitely slower, but, like, I was, like, still fast. Like, I think I was, like, clocking, like, 17 miles per hour or something like that. But, like, by the time I left, I was at, like, 19, like, point 3. And it's like, okay, so and, like, by the last semester at state, like, I had increased because, like, at, like, 19.1 by, like, the end of the fall that I played with them, and then by that spring, I was at, like, 19.3. So I was like, "Okay, so I'm still progressing in speed," which is, like, crazy considering, like, I was already, like, a year and a half out of surgeries now. And then, like, I get to Iowa and, like, my speed still, like, increased, and still I think I got to, like, 19.5, maybe? Maybe, don't I might not be wrong on that one. But, like, I definitely was in the 19s. And it's like it's crazy how much your bodies can adapt and, like, heal from things even when there's not much literature on it, like, you can't really put, like, and half the literature's not on Division I athletes, like, you can't really put a Division I athlete in a box, especially not when it's, like, just generic data. 'Cause we're all, like it's, like, 1% of the population goes D1, if that. And then, like, we break it down to, like, male, female, and what sport, it's, like, this is, like, 0.05% of the population that we're talking about. And of that, I've already listed, like, 3 people that I know part of that 0.05 that had popliteal artery entrapment syndrome. It's,
Yeah.
like, you can't go off the data all the time, like, it's not like what you can't just read something in the book and be like, "Oh, if it's not by the book, then it doesn't exist." Like, that's just not it's just nowhere near the truth. Like, there's so many things that, like, don't make sense, but, like how athletes could be, like, really athletic, but you tell them to close their eyes and stand on 1 foot, they can't do it. Like, it's like, that doesn't make sense. Like, how can you I don't know, if you're a wide receiver for a football team, how can you go jump over someone, catch a ball one-handed and fall and, like, still hold it in your hand, but we tell you to stand on 1 foot and you fall over.
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you
No.
say it like that, right? Like, athletes are incredibly good at compensating and hiding different areas that they're deficient that way. Since you brought it up, though, you mentioned CSCS prep and all that, and you mentioned one of my favorite words, muscle spindles that way. What is it that muscle spindles assess? CSCS pop quiz here.
Yeah.
What is it that muscle spindles assess that way? What are they measuring?
I mean, like, power and, like, speed in which the muscle contracts, like actin and myosin, is that what you're asking?
I was thinking more like the stretch reflex, and it's
Oh,
more
like the
like
Golgi
the stretch, like
and
Golgi
stuff.
tendon organs, like GTOs assess tension and spindles
Yeah.
assess stretch.
I'll say that'll get me onto a whole tangent too, because, like, those muscle massage guns where I see people, like, using them right before they go run, I'm like, "You're literally like, your muscle spindle fibers have no clue how far your muscles, like, contracting and expanding now. Like, if you go run and, like, you're, like, making yourself so much more likely to pull something because now your muscles have no idea how much they are, like, expanding or not expanding, that's not the word, stretching. I
So
was like,
I
it
I
ah, that
I
would be
l I love this, and I think you need your own podcast called Price's Hot Takes, where every week you just pick a new topic and give your takes on it. Do you have any other hot takes other than the massage gun?
the ice bathing. Oh.
Oh, we are not a fan of ice baths, are we?
No, I do like ice
You
baths,
you
but,
like
like,
ice
for
baths.
if we know what we're actually using them for. Like, if we're saying it's for recovery, I don't really believe in that. If you're saying pain management, I agree with that. Like,
Yeah.
I think there's a great I used to like, in high school, I lived in ice baths. Like, I don't it's not because of the cold water that gives me the problems. It's I took my master's in exercise physiology, so, like, we literally would just sit down and talk about hot takes. So, like, this was, like, something that we, like, talked about, and they were like, "Don't like, you don't need to get confused, like, yes, it might make you feel better, but that's because it's pain management, it's, like, masking, like, your soreness, or it's masking this, but, like, your body swells for a reason." Like, after a game, like, yeah, you're gonna be sore, but, like, it's because you broke down your muscles, and it's your responsibility to, like, hydrate, fuel, sleep, and rebuild those muscles, and, like, the next day, I mean, like, the best way to recover is active recovery. Like, go on, like, a light jog, go stretch, go foam roll, like, go move. Like, don't sit still, like, don't think, "Oh, I'm gonna take another ice bath," like, because like, you're just making your muscles contract, and, like, our coach would make us go do ice baths, and, like, he'd always be like, "So, Prize, what'd you learn in your master's class today?" And I was like, "Ice baths are a myth." It was so funny, and he was like, "Okay, well, give me the breakdown of it." And I was like, "Well," like, and, like, there's so much, like, data, so, like, this is it's a hot take, like, there's so many things that, like, people will say, and, like, yeah, it works for some people, but, like, after I stopped doing ice baths, my body felt a lot better, like, and I just started, like, really focusing on the sleeping, eating, and, like, being active, and, like, thank goodness I'm a dog, so, like, he would really force me to be active, so I'd go on, like, 3, 4-mile walks after our games, like, not the day of, but, like, after. And I felt great, like, my body had never felt better, and I was like, "Wow." So I'm older, so you'd think my body already would feel worse playing. I'm, like, playing a lot of minutes, and I'm now not even a year post-surgery, and I feel great. Like, explain that one to me, I don't really know, which, I mean, some people are like, "Oh, ice baths make me feel so much better." And I'm like, "Good, it's pain management." But, like, y if you make your muscles contract and, like, you're taking away the blood flow that's actively going to your muscles, and it's, like, constricting everything off of your muscles, and it's like, okay, I don't agree, but
So now I have to know, did you have one of those, like, athlete scooter things riding all around campus, or was that not a thing for you?
no, I will admit I did have a scooter, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I was in Iowa, and it was, like, really cold my last semester, and I brought my scooter, and I'm not gonna lie, there was some days where I scootered my dog around Iowa. Like, it was horrible. I was like, "Please." I was like, "Know what? I'm here for 6 months. Who's gonna know it's me? Like, how will they know?" I mean, as I'm now admitting it on a podcast, but, I mean, I'm never gonna see probably half those people again, so, like, if I'm embarrassed, like, I'll own it. I just owned it on podcasts, like, they know it's me now, but no, I mean, I think it's good for, like, some reasonings of, like, for me, like, I had my master's was insane around our practice schedule, but I'd have, like, 2 hours of classes right before practice, and I'd have 15 minutes to get to practice, get on the field. So I'd scooter there, and I'd have, like, 8 minutes to get everything on, and, like, if you rush me putting my cleats on, it's painful, like, it almost would take me more time to get my cleats on if you yell at me to get my cleats on, which, yeah, that was a whole other thing, but, like, and then after practice, I'd have to leave, like, 15 minutes early because I had another class that went from 5 to 8. I'm like, I need the scooter or I'm not making it, or I'm gonna get parking tickets." So, like, between those 2, like, yeah, I will admit I was a scooter, not because I was lazy, but because I had such a tight schedule that I would never have made it walking, ever,
Yeah.
or piled up parking tickets. One
No,
of 2.
you gotta adapt to the situation, and
Yeah,
if
that
that
exactly.
involves if that involves you jumping on a scooter, it involves you jumping on a scooter, what can we say, right?
Yeah, which I'm definitely selling mine now, like, I don't want it, I don't need it.
Is it autographed?
Is it autographed? You wanna buy it from me? I'll gladly get it.
I'm just thinking we put it up for auction at this point, right? Like, autographed Price scooter, the exact one that Price and her dog used every day at Iowa for 6 months.
Who knows? There's no telling the market for that.
I mean, in a world where people are literally selling their dirty socks, I'm pretty sure you could sell an autographed scooter, I'm just saying.
That is true. For someone for Christmas, they're like, "Oh, I really liked watching Price for 6 years in college athletics." You're like, "Yeah, you can have my scooter. Just pay me a lot of money for it because that thing was expensive." Like, who knows? I have a lot of things to sell. I know that. I've moved out of all my places, and now I have a lot of stuff sitting in my bedroom right now. So that's gonna be a fun task to tackle in the
It's
next.
insane how quick this stuff accumulates, and I've been looking at that myself, and I'm like, "We need to downsize," but one of the most important points from the Price's Hot Takes segment here that I just absolutely loved. You mentioned that it's all about what works for you, and it's like, hey, there was a time when ice baths were great for pain management and you loved them, and then there's a time where, hey, we don't do them anymore and we feel incredible, right? Like
Yeah.
all of these things, whether it's sleep, nutrition, hydration, ice baths, any recovery modality you want to talk about, sauna, red light, whatever you want to throw in there, I don't care. It's all individual at the end of the day. And yeah, there's studies and research to support them, but there's also studies and research against it. And all of those studies are going to end with a phrase that's something to the effect of further research is needed to support these claims. So
Yeah.
ultimately, you have to find what works for you at the end of the day and understand that what works for you is not going to work for the next person, and what works for the third person might be totally different. So I think if you fall in love with that self-experimentation process and almost like cracking the own code of like what works for your body, like that's where it's at, right? Like it's not like the body comes with an owner's manual and when the check engine light comes on, it's like most people don't even know the light's on because they don't understand the dashboard, right? So I think ultimately just having some kind of process in place for trying stuff and figuring out what works for you will set you up for success in athletics or really anything else.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. I ended up buying like a Whoop because I was like, "Know what? I want to like track to see what like preseason looks like, in season, postseason, and then like I knew that I was probably not going to play pro unless then like crazy offer happened or like I had like some insane year, which I had a good year, but it's like I like as I said, no accolades to my name. So it's like I've had all this success, but, like, at the end of the day, people like to look to see what you have on your, like, I guess, resume. But I was like, I wanna see what all the sections of my life look like from playing, not playing, preseason, postseason, like, how my body handles things, and, like, seeing, "Oh, how much sleep do I function off of? When do I normally get my deep sleep, REM sleep, like, light sleep?" And it's, like, been so interesting to see, like, how, like, your body recovery works in that aspect, which, I mean, I don't fully believe in everything Whoop does, but, I mean, it's all, like, equations that, like, end up giving you the outcome it does, so that and, like, Garmin's, like, I like both of those, like, I don't think they're, like, something you should, like, 100%, like, believe, rule, follow, but, like, they do help, like, give you an idea of, like, how your body handles things, like, I've had a lot of, like, teammates, like, we all have, like, groups and, like, we'll, like, text the other person, like, "Hey, like, why'd you not sleep last night?" Like, and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I was, like, cramming for a test," and now, like, let's say, like, a week later, they have an injury, and it's like, "Hmm." Like, it's, like, so interesting to see the patterns of things, and, like, I think there's one team that I know that, like, has, like every girl has a Whoop, and it's, like, a group like, they have a group Whoop thing, so they have, like, an understanding of, like, the recovery of each girl and how they are doing, which I don't know if, like that's definitely not mandatory, it's, like, definitely, like, the girls optionally, like, want to do it, like, nothing, like, forced, but, like, it's, like, I think it's really, like, important because like, there's, like, the TMP changes that, like, coaches will, like, share with the teams or, like, they'll, like, send out texts, like, telling you, like, "Hey," like, "put in your post-game, like, review of, like, what are you feeling sore in? What's, like, injury? What's painful? Like, how'd you sleep? How'd you eat?" Like, all those are, like, so interesting and, like, so important to, like I think, honestly, that's half of the reason, like, how I've been able to stay, like, healthy for most of my career is, like, because I prioritize, like, eat, sleep, and, like, recovery, like, I literally live in a training room, like, I think that's, like, half the reason, like, I went to, like, half my colleges because I was like, "So how's the training staff? Like, what does the strength staff look like? Like, do I get along with these people? Do I, like, think these people are gonna help me?" And, like, I mean, I talked to, I think, every single one of my trainers, like, every single one of them, and my strength coaches, like, I'm, like, best friends with all of them, I literally went back to Starkville and, like, hung out with them for, like, 2 hours, like, just talking about life, talking about, like, what my future plans might be, like it's, like, interesting to hear their takes too, because like, they've been through it too, so, I mean, there's so much.
Yeah. No, I love that that was your experience, and that's something that I think a lot of times people on the coaching and rehab side, if you will, I don't care if you're a strength coach, chiro, PT, AT, whatever your title is that way. I think a lot of times we forget that the work we're doing with athletes is more than just rehabbing an injury, right? It's
Mhm.
deeper than that, and there's more meaning and purpose to it, or at least I think there is, right? And it's one of those things I always like developing a relation with every athlete because it's like, look, if you're trusting me to work with you for 9 to 12 months and return you after this crazy injury. For many of them, it's the first injury they've had. We see them in a lot of dark moments. They come in crying on day one, or whatever it is that way. It's like, we gotta learn to trust each other here. And it's like, we got to develop a connection that allows us to kind of walk through all those steps seamlessly that way. And I,
Mhm.
I think that there's something powerful about that. And I feel like that's not discussed enough, at least in my opinion, on the success of rehabs and return to play cases, where it's like literally, what is your connection with the staff that you're working with? How do you trust them? How do you like them? How do y'all get along? Literally, what's the sense of humor? Like, is it a freaking vibe? Like, one of the things I really strived for when we were up in Maryland was like, if you came in, whatever your vibe is, we're gonna match it. And I don't care if that's like changing the music to something you like, or if I'm high energy, high strung for one person and then toned way down the next, like all over the map, whatever it is, I'm just gonna match what the person in front of me needs. And I think the more we go at it like that, the better off we become as providers, providing for you all, but also the better our athletes are going to, become, because instead of just becoming part of these stats of athletes that don't return to sport successfully or whatever, like they actually get back, and, they're better off because we got them the goal that they're after. So, yeah, that's my TED talk on that, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think it, like, also, like, stems back to, like, the maturity of both people because, like, there's been places to where, like, I was like, "Okay, this person clearly doesn't care about my recovery," or, like, "They don't understand what I'm going through," or, like, "They don't, like, have the best intentions for me," and, like, not that I ever, like, fully thought that about, like, any of my training staff, but, like, I mean, from, like, almost, like, they thought that I probably had something, but they're like, "Well, it's not, like, severe enough to where, like, it's, like, really affecting your day-to-day or, like, affecting soccer, so, like, it's probably best to, like you don't really wanna, like, open up something that, like, could potentially become way worse and, like, ruin, like, your entire goals in future." So and, like, I'm best friends with, like his name is Corbett Franks, he now runs the, athletic training department at Ole Miss. Yeah, Ole Miss, and, like, him and I are close, like, I literally would call him at UCF and, like, ask for his advice on, like, what I should do, and then when I got to UCF, like, they didn't really know how to help me at first, and then, like, after, like, I told him, I was like, "My leg's burned, like, I feel like I should take a knife and, like, slide it right up my leg." And he was like, "Let's not do that." And I was like, "No, I'm not crazy, like, I promise you, I'm not doing that, but I'm explaining to you, like, the pressure that I'm feeling." And he was like then he's, like, started, like, advocating for me. He was like, "Okay, now that you described this, like, I completely know that we need to be looking into, like, exertional compartment syndrome and, like, popliteal entrapment syndrome," but, like, that came from me not fully communicating. I was just like, "Oh, I'm sore," because, like not that I didn't really know what I was feeling, but I'm so stubborn that it's like, I don't like to tell people that, like, I'm actually hurting. Like, if I use the word hurt, then I must be really hurting because, like, I don't like that. Like, me and my family, like, grew up like, "Oh, like, rub some dirt on it, you're fine." Like, "Oh, it's broken? How do you know? Is it poking on the skin? It's probably not broken, like, you're fine." Like, we'll give it a couple days before you take it to the hospital, like just, like, very tough, and so, even, like, UCF, like, they, like, advocated for me, and they're like the first doctor was like, it's, like, inconclusive test," and he was like, "Okay," I was like the trainer asked me, he's like, "Do you wanna, like, continue looking for something, or do you, just do you wanna, like, give up on it?" I was like, "I mean, we're already here." Like, I kinda think that, like, I'm not gonna be able to play soccer again. Like, I can't whenever something's wrong, like, I can't come back from this. And then, like, he advocated for me to get Popliteal, got it. And then, like, the whole situation happened at UCF, and then, like, even, like, afterwards, like, he still, like, reached out and, like, helped me even though, like, I wasn't at the university anymore. Like, I came home for, like, the last, like, 6 yeah, in the beginning of August, I ended up coming home, like, right at the beginning of the semester. And, like, he was amazing and, like, helping me, like, just getting me connections, like, making sure I was taken care of even though I had a trainer at home who was like, "Here, I'll help you completely." And that was Ricky Clark. So, like, he's been, like, honestly the guy that I've always, like, circled back to because, like, he's the one that's from my hometown, like, he's known me since I was in 7th grade, like, he's dealt with everything for me because, like, in high school, like, I even, like, randomly, like, subluxed my fibula. Like, I went to a tackle. I don't even know what I was doing. I mean, little 8th grader just going crazy. Like, subluxed my fibula, and he was like, "I don't know what you did. I don't think it's ACL, but, like, I'm going with you to your doctor's appointment," because, like, he basically took, like, the role of, like, my dad. And then, like, he was there for when I broke my sesamoid bone in my foot. It's like, "Oh my gosh, like, this poor guy's been through it all with me," like, but, like, it also, like, took, like, the maturity side of me to, like, learn that, like, hey, like, you gotta be able to, like, properly communicate to people, like, you can't expect them to, like, just fill in the blanks if you don't, like, communicate it. But the same thing goes with coaching staff, like, it's really easy for people, like, to hit the portal and, like, get, like, upset about stuff, but it's like, did you properly communicate it to them? Like, do you have, like, a relationship to, like, talk them through it? Like, even which, I mean, I'm not like, my transferring from Ole Miss, like, I probably shoulda gone about it, like, another way, and, like, I was, like, respectful about it, but, like, when I went into the meeting, like, I had already, like, decided that I was transferring because, like, I was like, "You know what? This is the first time in my life I'm gonna be selfish, like, I'm gonna do what's best for me, and, like, that's not gonna really help the team," but, like, I was like, I gotta figure something out, like, my career, it's either I do it now or I do it never," and I was like, I kinda, like, just felt, like, led that, like, I needed to do it now, which, I mean, as I said, go back to God. It's like, it all works out for a reason, but, like, I don't know, it's just, like, the maturity aspect of, like, knowing that everybody has your back, but you gotta also be able to properly communicate it, which took me a while to learn, but, I mean, here I am.
I'm forgetting whose podcast this is, honestly. I think you could go on for the rest of the night, and I'd be good with it. I freaking love listening to you talk. I love hearing your stories and insights and all that you've learned that way. Seriously, shameless plug, you should totally start a podcast because you'd be phenomenal at it, Price. But again, I realize we could probably talk about this all day long because again, you are such an incredible person, and the journey you've been on is absolutely amazing. If you don't do a podcast, at least write a book because I would gladly buy a signed copy of that. I might not buy a signed scooter, I'm sorry, but I will definitely buy a signed copy of the Price book, if that comes out that way. You could maybe call it, like, The Price is Right or something, I don't know. Get creative with that bang.
Very
I
original.
that's the best I could do at almost 9 o'clock on a Monday here, it's like bedtime for me that way, but, is there anything we missed as we were chatting today or anything else you wanted to, share with people listening?
I mean, I think, like, basically going back to, like, my main point of, like, not everybody's story or path is, like, the same, like, for me, it was, like, really hard, like, going through all of the transitions that I did from, like, each school, and, like, it's even hard to, like, explain to somebody, like, if they don't, like, take the time to, like, understand your life, they're like, "Oh, Price has no commitment, no loyalty, like, just hop ship all the time," and it's like, well, if you learn my story, like, it makes so much sense of why I went and where and, like, how things worked out. But it's also not to say that, like, when I talk to people, I'm like, "Look, like, if you're looking to transfer, like, just know of, like, you're gonna grow up in ways that you didn't think you're gonna grow up." And it's just like, I don't know, like, you're gonna learn a lot of perspective and, like, it's not always gonna be exactly how you thought it out to be, but, yeah, I think if you're looking at everybody's stories, like, don't compare your story to anybody else, like, it's gonna be different regardless. And especially if you're a college athlete, like, you can't really let anybody tell you, like, what's the best for you, like, it's your job to, like, be mature and, like, decide for that, but as for when it comes to, like, your life, like, I think sometimes that like, you know yourself best, like, now do your best friends know you pretty well too? Yes, but, I mean, if I went off of every opinion that I've heard about myself or, like, what I should or shouldn't do, like, my parents didn't want me to transfer, but as I said, like, I believe that that was what was right for me, and maybe I didn't believe it for the right reasons. I thought it was for soccer. Turns out it was for health, but, like, I don't know, everybody's path's so different, so, like, basically just don't compare your, like, trajectory to anybody else, like, everybody's trajectory is so different, so, like, especially if you're in college athletics, like, there's really no right or wrong way to do it if you handle it, like, in a mature and, like, respectful way.
Absolutely, and Price, for people who wanna find out more about you online and so on that way, where can they find you at?
I mean, I have an Instagram. I'm not a big, like, social media fan, but if you want to follow me, you'll probably see a lot of my dog, but it's like Price_Loposer, like, very original. But that's about it. I mean, all my platforms are literally Price_Loposer, so if you look me up, like, I'm not really hiding.
Uh, I like that. We'll link to all of that in the description below. That way, if you didn't quite catch it, you can just click there, find Price online, and bid for her scooter, auction coming soon. Price, this was amazing. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Of course, thank you for having me. It was great talking to you.